Our next speaker on this track is Mr. Arul Murugan. Mr. Murugan is the CEO and founder of the innovation-driven venture capital firm 1111 Ventures. Prior to founding 1111, Mr. Murugan pioneered Enrich, a global leader in Oracle procurement SaaS, and grew it to a global company spanning 3 continents.
Mr. Murugan was named as one of the top 10 Tamil entrepreneurs by FeTNA and was a finalist for Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year Award in the Southeast region. Not only that, but he was named Entrepreneur of the Year by B2B magazine, and with these accolades, he was able to be proved as a successful entrepreneur. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Arul Murugan for his speech, Winning Investors' Confidence.
Good morning, everyone. Vanakkam. I think I'm going to do my speech in English. I feel a little bit more comfortable. And so first, thank you all for coming to this event. And my first FeTNA event is in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. And at that time, Entrepreneurship Forum is a smaller one, actually. I'm really glad to see that the TEF talk group has taken this a great event. Let's give an applause to the group who's done this, put it together. It's really a great job what they have done. So what I would like to do is that the topic I'm going to speak is winning investors' confidence. And so I would like to first start with my journey as an entrepreneur, investor, and a venture capitalist. So by the way, you could relate to mine and my thoughts on winning investors' confidence. So I'm a mechanical engineer, and I did my studies in India and came to US when I'm like about 22. Is it okay? Oh, it's there, okay. It's not, oh, okay. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Okay, so I came to US when I was 22, and I never thought that I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I came here for work, but the opportunity presented, and so I thought like, I want to start a company. So I started Enrich in 2003, and I ran it for about 12 years. Grown into a global company. We acquired a couple of companies in UK, and we had about 350 plus employees by the time we exited out. So there's a large private equity firm in Boston that bought us out. And within 1 year after that, I had my second exit as well. And in the meantime, I became a VC. But even before becoming a VC, I've been doing some angel investments. So when I was, this is like maybe like 6-7 years back, made about 5-6 investments. Like putting like a smaller check into very early stage startups. And like usual, actually most of the investment did not do well. So that given me a good thought process, what really works. And then after forming the VC in 2016 in Atlanta, we become kind of, this year if you look at the most active VC in Southeast. So we made about 20 plus investments, including some follow-on investments that we have done. And my focus has been on blockchain. And so the idea is to bring liquidity to venture investments. So if you are investing into a startup, the main problem is that we are stuck until that startup is sold. It typically takes about 5 to 10 years before a company, can everybody hear me well? Okay. So it takes about 5 to 10 years for a startup to succeed actually and get sold off. So with a blockchain, we can bring liquidity. We don't need to wait for a long time, so that allows investors to come in and almost like making it liquid like a public stock market. So that's a kind of my background, and then let's talk about how do you win investors' confidence. And the way I would look at it is that believe in yourself. I think the first speaker, Kumaravel, talked about the power of believing. It all comes about the belief that you have. So that's very, very important. I think don't worry about anybody else. Don't even worry about the investors or anything like that. Believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, investors will come to you. So let's talk about, a lot of time when I meet with entrepreneurs, they more talk about their technology or the solution that they have, how great solution that they have built. But that is not what's more important. The reason is because when you come out with an idea or a solution, very unlikely that that is a solution that's going to succeed because you are going to change that many times. So what we would see is that how passionate about solving a problem. And are you really solving a good problem or a real problem? That's more important actually. So when we understand that you are solving a bigger problem, a real problem, and there is an authenticated demand for that problem, that makes us to invest. It's not like how great technology is, what kind of solution that you are trying to come out with. So that's the one thing I would say. And again, when you are pitching for an investor, start with the problem and spend some time making sure that you understand the problem and making sure that the investor is able to understand, yes, this is a real problem that you are solving. Because if we have the confidence that you are solving a good problem, and then the next part I will come together like ability to pivot. So what we look at is that, as I said, the first time you come out with an idea and a solution, very unlikely that that's the same thing that's going to happen. So we look at to see that can you pivot as you understand the market? Because very hard, actually when I started my business, I started with one, it kind of morphed into other. And we invested in 20 companies. Very hardly, I have seen one company, when I met with an entrepreneur saying that this is what I want to do, they are in the same market, but exactly how they accomplished that, it's much different. It morphed into something better. So ability to pivot is extremely important. So we look at to see that how you can pivot. And I use the word scrappy entrepreneur. So be a scrappy entrepreneur. What it means is that can you get things done with little money? So that's what I would define what you mean by a scrappy entrepreneur. So you don't need to be very polished. I do everything. What we look at is that, so big scrappy, that's really good. And I also don't think that, oh, this is my idea and I don't want to change. Not like that. You learn because you need to listen to the market and listen to other people. That's more important. So I think that comes to the third point, be open-minded. So if we find out that entrepreneurs is not open-minded, it's very hard actually. So make sure that you're very open-minded. That's very important for you to succeed. And you have to be coachable. So that's a very important characteristics that we look for. And you make sure that you do that. So if you are an open mind and if you're coachable, that's a very, very good reason that the investors are going to like you. So this is a very important point that I would say, like a lot of entrepreneurs don't look at that. It doesn't mean that you give up your idea, you give up your thoughts. When we invest in an entrepreneur, we invest when you know something or you believe in something that others don't believe, right? That's the key thing. It's not like, but when we say that you're open and coachable, listen to others. That's more important. It doesn't mean that you change your thoughts because only reason why we invest in you is because what you think of is different than anybody else that is out there. That's how you're bringing something new into the market. And finally, you as an entrepreneur, when you start the company, you don't have a brand. So you should have the ability to hire good talent and retain them. It's all about the talent. And when we come in, we look at the leadership team. We give a lot of importance about the leadership team. So make sure that you have that knack and ability to hire good talent. So that's very, very important. So we have seen some really good, talented entrepreneurs, but they cannot work with a team. Or the leadership skills that they have, they cannot hire and retain some good talent. That's extremely important. This is the final point. I think not many people may realize that. So I look at having a strong financial acumen. So yes, you need to be good if you are in a technology business, having a good understanding on the technology, having a good understanding on the business model. But having that financial acumen is very important. If you know the numbers, if you know how much cash that you're getting, what is your burn, how much you are, and then when you can reach the profitability, if that goes in your mind, you can make some good decision. So one of my success I would look at is that I call myself like, I understand the financials really very well. And I look into the financials. When I meet with an entrepreneur, when they say that, oh, I have to look at my CFO. You are an entrepreneur. You cannot afford to have a CFO. Or if you cannot explain your own financial statement, no. There is no reason why we have to invest in that particular entrepreneur. So what I would say is that everybody would have a different strength in terms of financial acumen. So make sure that you invest your time to get that financial acumen. That's extremely important. Because what I look at is that if you don't have that, it's very hard for you to make right decisions along the way. And then ultimately, I said all these points. What I look at is that execution is the what ultimately it matters. So when we work with startups, we try to build a relationship with them. What we watch is that can they execute? So a lot of times people come back and talk about ideas. I tell them I give less than 10% importance to the idea. It's not the idea that matters, it's the execution. If you don't have a good idea, of course, you're not going to do anything. Idea is just a starting point, so don't be just proud that you have a great idea. And don't think that my idea is so much, I want to protect it. Be open, talk to others. So I never, whatever the great idea had, I will be very open to talk to anyone. Because I don't fear that somebody can take away my idea. If somebody can take away your idea is not that good. So it's not just the idea, the thing comes is basically execution. So make sure that you can execute. Okay, so when you want to execute, there are three characters. I think so far I talked about more of a science, but there's a lot of art that goes into that. That's a 3 point that I put in the bottom. Attitude. If somebody asks me the one thing that's important for an entrepreneur is the attitude. So make sure that you have the right attitude. If you don't have the right attitude, it's very hard. Because the attitude is not just for investors, it's for your customers, it's for their employees, any parties that you deal with. So that's the most important aspect. So I really look to see what kind of attitude that an entrepreneur is having. And then the determination. This is the hardest, I think. Every entrepreneur has to go through ups and downs, and you will always be in a moment that everything is gone, you are bankrupted. I never seen anybody just going up. So the determination is very, very important. Never giving up, right? You will always be forced that, oh, things are not working out. That determination is extremely important. Finally, hard work. Nothing beats hard work. Even now, I think I have done that many times. Now as a VC, I thought, let me take it easy. It's not working out very well. When I put my hard work, I see the results. So what I would say is that don't think that I've accomplished, there's nothing beats hard work. So be determined, put a lot of hard work, then I think you will succeed. And again, that's what the quality that the investors are looking for. And again, as I said, started with the beginning, believe in yourself. Belief is most important. So I just want to end up talking about we as an investor, what we look for. It's in our website. You can take a look at that. Product market fit. All those points, I think finally we say that is this a product that has a market into that? There's a validation from the customers. And then it can scale, then we invest in them. We talked about having a coachable team. And of course, we focus mostly in the US and East Coast, but now we are going across the US with the blockchain. And the final point I think I have not touched upon is the right time to invest. So another key point is that, is it too early or too late to do a business? So if you are an entrepreneur, even though you're passionate about something, again, look at the realistic from a timing perspective. Sometimes you get a little bit early. If you get early, understand that you are early and then place yourself. So timing is extremely important. We as an investor, we give a lot of importance in the terms of timing. Sometimes too early doesn't work out. If it's too late, again, not a good thing. So timing is extremely important. So with that, I think if anybody has any questions, I'll be very happy to answer. And thank you very much.